Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me this week is my go-to podcast compadre and co-host, Mr. Joe Lever. Joe, how are you doing this week, buddy?
Doing excellent day, Jimmy. Good to see you, pal.
Excelente. And I didn't say this earlier, but I do mean it when I say it. Your hair is looking great. For people who aren't watching right now,
A little long on top, short on the sides, you know what I'm saying?
he's looking good. He pulls it off. His hair, like my hair, as you can see, it gets like when it gets longer, it gets like curly and wavy and crazy. But yours is just like nice and straight and got some wave to it. It's good.
That's a mighty fine compliment coming from a man as distinguished as you, Jimmy. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I don't know why I always say like the scholar, like you're a gentleman and you're like, oh, and you also study. You're like, okay. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. If this is your first time, we like to talk about pretty much everything in entertainment. We're talking movies, games, TV shows, music, theme parks, all that stuff. And this week, we're getting back in the habit because we've had a few things pop up here. I want to talk about this briefly because people wanted us to discuss it because I saw it pop up in the Discord. Jumanji, The Next Level, the sequel to Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, which is like maybe it's like a spiritual successor kind of sequel to the first Jumanji. So is this like the third Jumanji or second Jumanji? Who cares? Anyway, before we talk about this, I recommend if you're going to listen to us discuss this, you might want to go like watch the trailer. Otherwise, you might be really confused.
Yeah,
because this is like it's a good trailer. Yeah. So Joe, I know we just discussed it briefly before we started here, but you actually are trending positively on this, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, trending.
Trending, mostly trending. Mm-hmm.
Mostly trending. No, yeah, positive thoughts this far.
What is it that you like about this trailer?
I think what's gonna get people is the casting. I think what's trending right now is The Rock playing Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
and the same as Kevin Hart playing the name escapes me right now.
Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover. So
yeah,
I think that's gonna set up well. Not only that, but like if parents are taking kids to the theaters, I think they're gonna like the whole Danny Glover and DeVito dealio, you know.
Yeah, I hope so. Honestly, though, I was kind of disappointed because I wanted it to be like the original kind of thing again because I felt like there was such a good synergy in that group. But maybe they were worried it would have been too much Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart, like screaming about being Kevin Hart. And it's like, all right, now you're Danny Glover. How would Danny Glover react to this in your body?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so that's kind of interesting.
Fine. Yeah, I think it's a good spin on it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm interested to see. So the Ruby Roundhouse is still the girl.
Yep.
So she got the same character she got last time, and then
I think the Fridge, the guy they call him like the Fridge,
Jack Black,
which saddens me because I really, really wanted him to be the teenage girl again, but I think she kind of learned a lesson in the last one. But I was like, I just love Jack Black playing some like kind of full of herself, like blonde teenager. Like, I just thought that was
that was funny. Golden for sure. But yeah, I don't know. So where are the other ones? Where are the other?
Yeah, so that's the thing because it seems like the main protagonist in the last one, or one of the main protagonists, who was The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, is now kind of lost in Jumanji somewhere in another avatar, perhaps. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I kudos to them for changing it up because they easily could have just been like, "Hey, guess what? The kids are back in the game again."
More characters, and I appreciate what you're saying about Jack Black portraying a young girl. Right? It's funny and all great and whatnot, but I like the little bit of a change up, and I think it might lend itself more to appropriate comedy.
Yeah,
just as much, right?
I'm also interested to see like behind the scenes on this one because I doubt they did this, but I'd like to think Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, it's Danny Glover. They're both Dannys. But that they're on set all the time during these like moments, and they're like, "Here's what I would say as this person."
Yeah, I wonder how they do that, or if they just kind of take a guess at it, and it's just kind of how does he talk? And essentially spin it that way and then just play the old man card the whole time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Also, I respect the fact that they're forcing Kevin Hart to do like the exact antithesis or opposite of what he normally is, because it doesn't seem like he's going to be screaming as much You know, like he's more like, oh, like what the Sam Hill? You know, like it's more like
you having a stroke? Whole
Yeah,
right side of your face.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's pretty funny.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
that.
But it seems like it's more the same, more like crazy CGI animals, but they do vary up the locations, which I appreciate. It looks like we have like the desert and maybe like a mountain or Arctic or snowy tundra area too. And I was like,
a Yeti. They're gonna run into a Yeti for sure.
probably run into a Yeti. That's a good one. I also like that you get the same like NPC back who's like, welcome to Jumanji, and he's kind of going through the whole spiel again. And but kind of a thing we're seeing more and more nowadays with like these video game movies. If they make sequels, it's like, what would happen if the video game characters or someone messed with the video game? And now it's like, oh, the video game's weird. It's like Wreck-It Ralph breaks the internet. It's like, okay. So I wonder if they're going to try to play into that too, like where that young man who was The Rock in the last one, in this one, if he's like done something that's going to make everything crazy, that's why the different biomes are there or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, these movies lend themselves to creativity fairly well. You know, I think the first one, it wasn't something like, oh, I got to rush to theaters. But if I was desperate for a little chill time,
yeah,
I'd probably go out and see it if just to have some fun.
It's a smart marketing thing too, because it's again at Christmas, so it's going to just
family friendly.
It'll just be there for families to just be like, oh, what should we see? Hey, we should see Jumanji. Look, oh, they got Danny DeVito in this one. Grandpa's gonna love it, or whatever. It's gonna be. Even though Danny DeVito appeals to everybody, I know you guys love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Most of the humor is pretty relatable and semi-clean, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
It's good, jolly fun for the most part.
I do like that. I think it's Karen Gillan who plays Ruby Roundhouse is getting more of like a centralized focus, because like in all the movies she's in, she's super good, but she's usually not like the main person. It seemed like, at least in these action films, she's always kind of been like the, one of the many, but it seems like she's the only one who kind of gets everything, and she's the same person again. And I was like, cool. Like,
yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
She's the center point of it all, right?
Yeah.
She's pretty cool in real life too. I listened to that Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, and she was on there, and it's interesting to hear the backstory of how actors and actresses like that came up.
Yeah, I should listen to those. Sounds good to me. Yeah. She's got a cool accent too. Is she from like Scotland? Scottish? Oh yeah. Scottish. I love that. It's so cool because I knew everybody can do an American accent so well.
Try that Scottish accent. I dare you. You can't. Yeah, what?
You just made an enemy for life. Sorry, that's
not quite.
That's Willie. That's Willie. He says it from Simpsons.
Yeah, that was a good try.
Scots and other Scots. Oh, you Scots are sure an impetuous bunch. You just made an enemy for life. Sorry, it's Principal Skinner back and forth. Everybody should watch the old seasons of The Simpsons. It's good stuff. Anyway, yeah. So Joe, we got to know hypometer, Jumanji, the next level. Where are you? 0 to 10.
In all honesty, I would give it a fairly strong 85%.
Okay.
Nice. Degrees.
Or 8 point. I was like 0 to 10, and Joe's like 85 degrees. No, 0 to 100. He's like, I'm so excited.
Your hypometer or your hypometer?
Yeah, hypometer. Let's do that. I like that better. I guess, yeah, for me, it's more like 70, 75 degrees. I kind of know what to expect with this. I don't know if I'd rush out to theaters to see it, especially around Christmas time, because that's like around here. You got to have a lot of want to see a movie at that time of year, because it's like snowy and stuff and you're hanging out with family.
True.
You gotta be like,
and it's one thing if it's family and it's like a Christmassy movie where it kind of like applies to that time of year. Yeah. Let's watch a Christmas movie together. Yeah.
Yep.
Not very Christmassy here.
Nope, not very much. But anyway, I'm interested to hear what everybody who's listening to this thinks about it, because I would like to hear if you guys liked the first one and you're really excited for a sequel, if you're hungry for it, because clearly it did well enough to kind of garner not only a sequel, but to kind of move it forward in the pipeline to be like, hey, all right, we're doing Jumanji sequel. Let's go.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's weird. Everything The Rock's in seems to do well, even if like I've seen some movies and I look at the trailer, I'm like, what?
Yeah, again, if it wasn't him, these would all be like straight to cable or something like that. Yeah, it's just
like Rampage. I wonder how well that did.
All right.
We should look up what's his company, $7 Entertainment. Pretty sure that's what it is. The production company that he owns that does all these.
All
I want to know how well all these
right, Joe.
did.
Oh my God, you're never gonna believe this.
I'm not.
Okay, so Rampage 2018 budget 120 million. Domestically, it made 100 million. Foreign, 327 million. Oh my God. It made $428 million worldwide. That is insane. And does anybody want to take a little bit of a guess as to which one gave it the most money?
China.
That is correct. 55 million from China alone. Wait.
Wow.
Oh no, I lied. 156 million. Oh my God. Opening weekend was 55 million. 156 million from China for Rampage.
Alone.
Did they? I forget if some of it was set in China because that's what like movies have been doing. Like Transformers, Age of Extinction had their finale in China, like for that reason.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But yeah, that made a lot of money. My question is Skyscraper. Let's just look up Skyscraper really quick because this is like stuff we need to look up right now.
Well,
all right.
Cue the elevator music. I want to know what they all made. $7.
Skyscraper, by the way, $125 million budget, so pretty similar, and grossed 68 million domestically, 236 million foreign, so 304 million. Yeah, my gosh, and that one was set in China. And I'm not saying this is the only thing that matters. I'm just saying that China is a dominant market, and for this one, $98 million of that was China. Oh my God, that's nuts. Good on you, Rock. Rock's doing it, man. He's just like
here, $7 Productions box office history. Excuse me, I got my mic in a bad spot. I apologize.
That's okay. Now we can hear you even better. It's like you were playing with our emotions, and now you're here.
So well.
So well.
Okay.
Quick side note, as of this recording, Avengers Endgame has still not surpassed Avatar. I wouldn't be surprised to see another re-release down the line. They really want to beat that movie. They're like, we're going to make that money. We're going to do it.
Well, let's see here. They've only got... Oh, they don't have them all listed.
Yeah,
here.
I doubt they would have it listed or that information.
But they've got there. Baywatch and Jumanji The Next Level on here. Obviously, Baywatch being older is listed $60 million budget. Opening weekend, it made 18.5. Domestic box office total, it made 58 million. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just looking at now.
Worldwide, 175.8.
Well, I'm getting 177, but still on a budget of 69 million. So that's still a pretty good. That's a good turn.
Sure,
and again,
require a big budget.
It's that one. The nice thing about that one is you probably pay mostly for Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron. Like, I'm not saying that the other people in there weren't good, but I'm just saying that for your budget for this movie, because if anyone saw Baywatch, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like, thank goodness they had all those special effects and stuff. So
Dwayne Johnson box office numbers.
He's just good. He's just box office gold right now, baby. That's why he's going to be Black Adam or whatever eventually. Who knows? But we're moving on, Joe. Otherwise, we're going to look at all these numbers all night and bore these people. You'll be like, oh, they just said numbers for like 45 minutes.
Here I got the whole listing of all of them.
Oh, God. Now he finds it. Oh, my gosh. Is there anything worth noting about this? Or not? Maybe.
Nothing
okay.
Crazy. I wanted to see San Andreas did pretty good.
I always look at Box Office Mojo for anybody who's like watching or listening at home. If you're ever looking, I find them to be pretty good. So Joe was talking about San Andreas there. Oh my gosh, yeah, this movie did really well. So a budget of 110 million. Again, pretty similar. Well, yeah, pretty similar to Rampage. Actually, less than Rampage, but made 155 domestically. So again, we usually take that number 110 for the production budget, usually double it roughly for marketing. So it has to kind of surpass around 200, 220. And this one made $473 million because foreign, it made 318. And once again, I would guess, yes, China, 103 million of that was from China alone. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. They're just dominant. They're just dominant right now. It's just something that people have to realize, and that's how movies, if you see in the future, big action movies like this, will be kind of curtailed sometimes towards that. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anywho, all right, Joe, we're moving on. We're moving on to a little series you might have heard of. You ever heard of Geralt of Rivia? Ever heard of The Witcher?
I have played The Witcher 3, and it's a fun game for the most part. If it was a co-op, it
For
would
the
be
most
really freaking fun. No, it's cool. The storyline and everything that's in there, and it's good. It really is. It's engaging. The lore behind it is really cool. Not a thing to complain about. It's just cool.
Well, good, because you don't need to complain about it, because your favorite actor on the planet, Henry Cavill or I almost call him Spider-Man, Superman, is obviously we've known a long time that he's going to be playing Geralt. We got that kind of weird, like, remember that little like video of him stepping out of the shadows, and like you could tell like it was a wig clearly, but now we got these photos of him, Ciri, and Yennefer, all in their HD glory. And I want to talk about it for just a second because we like to kind of dissect these pictures a little. What do you think of Henry as Geralt? Do you like him? Does he look good?
I think so.
Yeah.
Looks the part, has the right physique. The beard thing doesn't bug me. It is what it is. I just think I'm amped for this, dude. Like 100 out of 100 degrees. I really think it's going to be cool. I like that it's almost got a little bit of like Lord of the Ringsy vibe.
Oh, for sure.
If that's the right comparison, but it's just very I also like that horror gets mixed in there. It's fantasy horror, which is going to be awesome. Like I can't wait to see him encounter a werewolf or a griffin, you know? I mean, come on. Ooh. That'd be cool. Delectable.
Do you remember how many episodes they're actually going to be in the first season?
8.
Very good.
Not enough. I should have said not enough.
Well, I hope that just means that we're like wanting for more, and I hope that means that like the production budget per episode is better as opposed to doing 13, where you kind of just like stretch it out and it's not as cool. Like some of the monsters don't look as cool. Some people might notice that he's only carrying one sword, and I was kind of reading into this because it seems like that's more of a video games thing where he has the iron sword for humans and a silver sword for monsters. That's not necessarily the case all the time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we won't see a silver sword pop up later on.
Or just use the silver sword the whole time on both, right?
Yeah, why not, right?
Why not? Maybe that's what's going on here. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I think it's the iron one, but either way, I don't really have much to say on Yennefer and Ciri. They look a bit different than their video game counterparts, but they might be more like going off more of like the book descriptions, which that's totally fine. It doesn't really matter to me. I think a lot of people are just going to be really hyper vigilant towards Henry. And you know what the weird thing is? I'm interested to see if he can actually pull this casting off, because really we've kind of seen him as like a super spy. We've seen him as Superman, suave, kind of debonair, but I've never really seen him like grizzled. I guess the closest we got was a little bit in Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Well, and Superman, when he kind of plays that like he's kind of beaten down and exhausted over the mentality of humans kind of a thing, kind of depressed. I think he can kind of spin that a little bit to kind of, or twist it, malleable. It's malleable into this style or demeanor.
Yeah. Well, maybe, and I hope that's the case, because one of my favorite things about Geralt is that he is kind of like disenfranchised, and he's like saving people, and you know, from all these horrible monsters, but oftentimes the humans are just as bad as the monsters, and he's like you know, it's just a job. I got to kill monsters, and yeah, I'm really hopeful, and I hope, even though it's only 8 episodes, that you get kind of this like, hey, we're hunting different monsters each time, but maybe there's kind of an overarching like thread line, or maybe there's a serious monster like a high vampire eventually that he has to like hunt down, and he's like, I really got to prepare for this because this guy is going to be like the tip top, like, you know, not messing around.
Yeah, I don't think it'll have the same vibe as like a good example is Smallville. You know, they were always scrutinized for, it's just the bad guy of the week, right? And a lot of those CW superhero shows follow that methodology, but I think with this, the characters and the world and all that, and his background, I think there's more to base it on.
Yeah.
So it's not just going to be a primary focus of this is a monster, he's going to do this to go kill it, yada yada. You know.
Yeah. Even though we do just have the pictures, Joe, you already said like 100 out of 100. I'm probably at like a 90. I just want to see like a trailer. Like, I just really want to see just even like hints at monsters and stuff. And for goodness sakes, if they even tease a lesson, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'll be like, yes. Like, I'll be so stoked. But yeah, it's really cool. I hope everybody got a chance to actually go look at those pictures. If you haven't yet, you should totally do that. And apparently it is coming out before the end of 2019. I would guess
Gets me more hyped.
it's got like I would say end of August until like beginning or middle of November. That's the best time to drop one of these things. If I'm dropping this though, it's like right in October. Like I'm just like, here's a creepy little thing for you. Like
clutch drop for Netflix. I honestly think it was a good thing for them to develop because I think it's got a real, I don't even know if you call it a cult following, but I guess, it's got a following.
Oh, for sure. I think when they kind of said it too, we were watching like that IGN video, but I think they said it really well. It's like a cult following with the books and then the success of Witcher 2 and then specifically Witcher 3, like kind of blowing up and people are like, okay, we know The Witcher now. So keeping all of that in mind is an interesting thing. And with the power vacuum that Game of Thrones is left now, everybody, Netflix has Witcher. We're still waiting for Lord of the Rings, and Amazon, like that stuff. And HBO still trying to make kind of those prequels or spin-offs of Game of Thrones as well. So it's like a lot of people are kind of going for that adult fantasy vibe. And Witcher might be the first one to get there, potentially. Yeah. Not exactly sure. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. The only other show that is like making me think about this is The Mandalorian that's coming to Disney Plus, where that's going to be like more of an adult, like kind of bounty hunter focused. Like there's something about bounty hunters and stuff that I feel like lend themselves just so perfectly to television because again, like you said, Joe, it can be bad guy of the week, like Supernatural style, where you're like, all right, this week we're hunting this, but we still are finding out clues about the demon with the yellow eyes, like they can kind of, parcel it out that way. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I just can't wait to see some monster designs. Like, oh gosh, and that's the thing too, is they make their monsters look like, at least in the games, have been more naturalistic. It's like they could really exist, and I hope they continue with that.
Which they got to keep it true to the lore and the what people expect.
Yeah, I don't want him to get too crazy though. I don't want him to do like, we made a Hydra for him to fight, and I'd be like, please don't.
Keep him more intimate and scary. You make something big like that, and you're not as like scared of it, or there aren't jump scares or horror vibes to it.
Gosh, I hope they do the potions and the bombs and everything. I want him to prepare. I want to see him just like reading a book and then just like drinking a potion, and then he gets in a fight, and it helps him. Like, man, yeah. I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
As am I, Mr. Good.
It's gonna be so much fun. All right, Joe, are you ready for a little game?
I'm always ready for a game, Jimmy.
He's ready for a game. He says, I don't know if he's actually really ready for a game.
I am dominant. I am a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, that's good. I feel like there's like flashing lights over there. You watching like a rave or something?
No, I got a video playing on the TV that I didn't turn off.
Oh, what's playing?
So I apologize.
No, we gotta know.
Just some Twitch stuff.
Oh, gotcha. He's watching you're watching my old stream. Thanks, man.
I went back to watch his CR stream. For sure.
All right, so because it is that time of the year, well, not that time of the year, but Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out like tomorrow or like the next day. Either way, it's coming out very shortly here.
Second, it said, right?
Is it the 2nd? Yeah, so that would be tomorrow. We're recording this on July 1st. Anywho, I was watching good old Spider-Man 1 here because I'm working on the 3 movie commentaries we're doing for these for the months of May, June, July, respectively. And I thought it would be kind of fun, Joe, to see how well you remember these films quote-wise. That's right. I'm going to hit you with some Spider-Man quotes, and you got to tell me who said them. Play along at home and see if you can keep up with this.
Wait, Spider-Man quotes?
Spider-Man quotes, but they're not all from Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not just going to be like, Spider-Man said this. You'll be like, Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man. Spider-Man said this. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm just gonna low softball it for you here, Joe. It's gonna be so easy. With great power comes great responsibility. Who said it?
Peter's uncle. Yeah, Roy.
God, you're horrible.
Peter's uncle. What was his name?
You remember? Think of the rice.
Brown.
No.
Jasmine. White. His Uncle Ben.
There you go. That's funny. I was looking up old pictures today. My sister, I think it was my sister or Levi, sent me a GIF where it's like a really weird looking Donald Duck, and he says like, "Hey, Spoder Man." I don't know why he calls him that. He's like, "Do you want some rice?" And it shoots over to a really crudely drawn Spider-Man. He's like, "Oh, thanks, Donald. What kind of rice is it?" And it's a stupid picture of Donald again holding his Uncle Ben's, and then shoots back to Spoder-Man, and he's got a tear like running down his face. So stupid.
Sad.
Anyway, nice. All right, next one. Do you know how much I sacrificed?
That would be Norman Osborn.
Very good. Thank you. I was watching that last night. Man, I remember so many quotes from that movie. I feel so good about myself.
You said it well.
Thank you. I could have gone crazier, but I don't want to blow out the mic. How about this one? Storm and Norman's making his weekly inspection.
Is that Norman's son, Harry?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, baby. You got it. Good job.
Really?
Yeah. One of my other favorite quotes. Okay, Norman Osborn buys or rents an apartment for both Peter and Harry in that first movie, like a New York apartment. I can't imagine that's cheap. Like, and it's like
Not at all.
2 floors and everything. I was like watching him, like, man, Norman's he's got some money. I mean, he obviously does, but yeah. But then again, like in that movie, they were like Oscorp was going to get bought out by Quest Aerospace because the board was going to sell because like they were doing so well, but they also needed the contract from the government. It's a whole thing. Anyway, there are bigger things happening here than me and you.
That's Peter Parker.
Very good. Do you remember who he says it to?
Harry.
Very good. Do you remember which movie?
It's the one where Harry becomes the surfboard guy. Essentially the New Age Green Goblin without.
Oh, New Goblin. Okay, I'll kind of give it to you. So it's at the very end, I think, of Spider-Man 2, because he freaks out and then he finds all the Goblin stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which I love, by the way, in Spider-Man 2, and I'm gonna watch it probably tonight or tomorrow for the commentary. But how you still feel Norman's presence, and then how like Harry talks to him in the mirror and stuff, and the whole avenge me thing. God, Willem Dafoe is so frigging good, man. He's so good. I love him so much.
That was a good role for him.
It's a good role for him. Here's one. Let's see. Oh, here's one, Joe. You do too much. College, a job, all this time with me. You're not Superman, you know.
Are these only the Sam Raimi films?
I've been sticking primarily to them, but don't worry, I might change it up.
Okay. Mary Jane.
Is that your final answer?
Is Aunt May? Aunt May.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
That's correct. Ding, 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 ding. Very good. Yeah. Which she's a little trickster because Mary Jane comes to visit her in the hospital and she's just like dropping eaves all over that conversation. She's just like, I'll pretend I'm asleep. And then Peter gives this really weird speech about how he lies to Mary Jane about he told Spider-Man this weird thing. He's like, oh, when you look at Mary Jane, like you're happy and you're sad and you're excited and you're terrified. It's just like, I get it, man. You're awkward, but like, oh boy. Anyway, next quote. Poor Peter Parker. It's probably my favorite quote from that movie. It's not great.
It's the one with the lizard man in Amazing Spider-Man.
Who says it?
The lizard guy. I don't know his name.
We'll take the lizard. We'll take it. Dr. Kirk Connors. Ding, 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 ding. Very good. I said it perfectly. I should have been like, poor Peter Parker.
You're actually doing pretty well.
You're doing very well, yeah. You have a knack for saving my life. I think I have a superhero stalker.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that one's tougher. It's Mary Jane.
Very good. Very good, Joe. Very good. She actually says it right before she kisses him, which, confusingly enough, she's like, can I thank you this time? And she goes for like his mask. First off, she knows exactly where to like pull down from his neck. But then he says, wait, which I guess translates to her as, you can only take my mask down so far. Like, but it would also have been weird in the scene if he was like, you can pull my mask down to like my nose, but then don't go any further than that. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, great iconic
Mary
scene.
Jane, I know that nose anywhere. It's a little crooked and has a pimple on the right side.
Like, he doesn't even change his voice that much, except for the final like fight in the bridge. Anyway, which, by the way, some New Yorker whips something at Green Goblin, and he's under the bridge, and some other thing, the item hits him. It's so, I don't know. Anyway, Spider-Man. This is why only fools are heroes, because you never know when some lunatic will come along with a sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children. Make your choice, Spider-Man, and see how a hero is rewarded.
Doc Ock?
Is that your final answer?
It is.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect, actually. That is the Green Goblin standing on top of the bridge at the end of the first film.
Okay.
Yeah. I like some of his dialogue. I know some people think it's nuts, but that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
I always imagined you getting married on a hilltop.
That's Peter Parker.
Very good. I don't know why they put him as Spider-Man every time. He's not like... Because the rest of that, Mary Jane says, Peter, I'm getting married. Peter says, I always imagined you getting married on a hilltop. Mary Jane, who's the groom? Peter says, you haven't decided yet. What? Like, some of this dialogue, man. Like, she's like, I'm getting married on this hilltop. I don't know who I'm gonna get married to, but someday. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts.
The train conductor and the one.
So, like, Doc Ock attacks the train and, like, rips the electrical out, and he's just like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts on a train that doesn't have seatbelts.
You're right.
Let me give you another quote of his so that way, or hers, that might help. It's one of my favorites. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's Dr. Octavius when he's doing the thing, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, and he goes to do the thing.
Yeah, he does that whole like little joke. He's like, "Did anybody here lose or like a bunch of rolled up 20s and a rubber band? Because we found the rubber band." It's like, he's funny. He's a doctor and he's funny.
I actually liked him as a character. I thought
he is so good. Like, they kind of doubled down on the whole like Peter's father figure turning into like a crazy evil person because of a science experiment, but he is so good. And I think Alfred Molina had a fun time doing it too, which is even better.
Yeah.
I love it. There's another one that I wanted to pick up from here. All right, Joe, you're doing really well. I think you've only like screwed up on one so far. Is that anybody at home beating him? I don't know if anybody can.
I missed the Green Goblin one on the bridge or whatever.
I know it's a tricky one. I'm sorry. And by sorry, I mean, no, it's part of the game. Here we go. Here's the real truth. There are 8 million people in this city, and those teeming masses exist for the sole purpose of lifting the few exceptional people onto their shoulders. You and me, we're exceptional. It's good. It's a good one.
Say it again.
Here's the real truth. There are 8 million people in this city, and those teeming masses exist for the sole purpose of lifting the few exceptional people onto their shoulders. You and me, we're exceptional.
Doc Ock again?
Oh, are you sure?
I don't know. Read it as the character.
Here's the real truth. I don't know why he's too New York. He's
Norman Osborn.
Yeah, sorry. I tried to do it. He's like, there are 8 million people in this city. I can't do it without doing like a New York accent. How does he do it? There are 8 million people in this city. And those teeming mass. That was like the same year, by the way. This was 2002. This is the same year we also got Andy Serkis doing Gollum and doing Smeagol, like the duality of that. Oh, yeah. And like both those guys are so good at it. Like obviously there's way more physicality in Andy Serkis's performance, but like give credit where credit's due. Willem Dafoe, he said that they did those takes, like most all of the Goblin takes and the Norman takes in one shot. And he said the problem is like in most of the movie, they cut back and forth. So you don't get to see me do the whole thing. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he's a talented dude. All right. Let's do just a few more. Joe, how are you feeling with the game? I feel like you've done pretty well thus
I
far.
like it. It's kind of fun. You
Okay.
got any other movies to pull from?
No, I'm pulling from the Spider-Man movies I know and everybody loves. No, this is only Spider-Man, Joe. We got to do it's Spidey time. Spidey. All right. Joe, pizza time.
Okay. So now we're expanding to the Amazing Spider-Man when he's a pizza delivery boy.
I just said pizza time.
I don't know.
You don't know? Peter says it in Spider-Man 2 because he comes through and he like is late with the pizza and he's like coming through that. He comes through like a janitor's closet somehow. And he like brings that pizza. And some guy tries to steal some of that pizza too. It's a whole thing. You don't understand. I'm not an empty seat anymore. I'm different.
I'm not an empty seat anymore. I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these are getting difficult.
I know.
I'm not an empty seat anymore. I'm different. That's Peter Parker because he didn't show up to the performance for Mary Jane.
Oh my God, that's incredible, dude. And then he says, like, punch me, I bleed. Which I'm like is always a weird question. Like, I get that he would bleed, but as a kid, I remember thinking I was like, technically, if you wanted him to bleed, you probably want to use some sort of, I don't know, not a blunt object, but a sharp one. Like, it's like if you're gonna like, come on, Peter, punch me, I bruised or something would be maybe a little bit of a better line there. Anyway. Fine. Talk to the receptionist. Give this man $100 and a bar of soap.
That is the head of the newspaper.
Whose name is?
Gosh. You had to look it up, didn't you? I heard you type.
No, I just changed to
what's his stinking name, man? I don't know. He's the editor of the paper, mustache guy.
His name is J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
so I'm still going to give it to you.
Just like the whiskey.
Jameson, you slime. Who takes the pictures of Spider-Man? Yeah, that's funny. In that first movie, he defends Peter, even though Peter's standing right next to him. He could be like, it's that kid right there. You should probably kill him. How about this one? You want forgiveness? Get religion.
That's Peter Parker.
Very good.
I forget who he's beating up there. The guy who beat up or killed his uncle.
No, it's close. You're getting a little mixed up. He says it to Eddie Brock when he's full emo. He pins him he's pinning up against the wall. He's like yelling at him and stuff. That'd be great if he's killing Sandman. He's like, "You want forgiveness? Get religion." Sandman's like, "Oh, please stop." Which, by the way, Sandman, he lets Sandman get away at the end. Like, Sandman's robbing banks and stuff, man. Like, come on.
Not the worst guy, right?
No, he just wants to save, like, his daughter is, like, ill, so he wants to, like, get her money. I get it. It's good. Oh, here's a good one. Let me ask you something. When you kissed her, who is kissing her? Spider-Man or Peter?
Norman Osborn.
No, you can't be serious.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Who would say that to him? Who knows he kissed Mary Jane in the...
It might not be about Mary Jane. I'll give you a little hint. This happens in the third movie, and that Spider-Man comes for a parade, and he ends up kissing somebody else, and somebody calls him out on it. Do you remember?
Yeah, who would call him out on it? Harry Osborn.
Harry's going to call him out on that? Harry knows about the upside-down kiss?
Mary Jane?
Yeah, she gets angry at him because remember he kisses Gwen Stacy.
Oh, for sure.
And he's like, lay one on me. And I'm like, that movie's got some issues, man. All right, Joe.
Stupid.
Revenge is like a poison. It can turn you into something ugly.
His aunt.
His aunt? Ants?
Why do I forget her name?
Not June. Not April.
But July.
Yep, classic Aunt July.
Aunt May.
There we go. Thank God. In July. How's the pie? So good. One of my favorite lines. So good.
Peter Parker.
No.
That one I don't know.
Harry says it after he confronts Peter about that he's the other guy, and that's one of my favorite moments because there's like this extra in the background, and Peter looks back at Harry, and Harry turns around, he's kind of smiling. Peter moves to go back to the restaurant where they are, and the bus cuts in between them. When the bus is gone, Harry's gone, and some guy almost looks like Harry fell on the ground. Like, where did he go? Like, I get that he's quick now, but I'm like, he's not like Quicksilver. He's like, whoo, he's gone. Yeah, that's so good. I love it so much. All right, Joe, how do you?
That one out. I need more time on it. I could have figured it out.
That's all right. And this is the last one I'm gonna do because it's really hard, and I don't think you're gonna get it, but I hope that you do.
All right.
Here we go. If promises were crackers, my daughter would be fat. If promises were crackers, my daughter would be fat. Nope. I'll give you a little bit more of a hint. If promises were crackers, my daughter would be fat. That was kind of a bad accent, but... We get introduced to this character in the second movie. He also has a moment where he says, look, what you do is you call her, you say, you are a good woman, I am good man.
Dr. Octavius.
No, it's Mr. Dickovich, his landlord, the guy, like, who lives across, the hall. Right. He's like, I've got the, what does he say? I might have it here. Oh, he's like, I've got the ears like a bat and eyes like a rodent or something like that. It's something weird like that. Anyway, Joe, you did pretty well. I'm going to give it to you. You did it really well in the Spider-Man quote quiz. I wonder if people out there...
2 or 3 wrong.
If people out there heard it and they were like, you know what? We did it. We did it. We did better. I felt like I was going to give you some sort of a prize, but I'm just going to give you some self-respect and some respect from me, too. You can have both. You can have both.
I appreciate that from an extinguished fellow such as yourself.
Oh, my gosh. You're too kind. Oh, God. I thought there was going to be one more quote that I was going to throw your way, but that's... I like that one. There's so many quotable lines in these movies. They're all so weird and corny and stuff. Now, Dig on This is a pretty horrible one. Oh, man. Emo Peter.
I got one.
You'll never stump me. I'm just kidding. You might stump me right now.
No, not at all. Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business.
See, I texted you that the other day.
I know.
I was trying to use that at work, and I was trying to explain to people. I was like, yeah, if you guys don't understand the Mr. Hammond, we're back in business quote, then I'm sorry, I just can't help you.
And next thing you know, the arm of Mr. Hammond, or no, not Mr. Hammond.
Samuel Jackson. Yeah, Arnold.
Yeah, falls on her shoulder.
How did the Velociraptors get that propped in there? Did they kill him?
Thing. Yeah,
like slam him, yeah. Also, that Velociraptor has just excellent timing, horror timing. Also, do you think he just finished eating and then it was just he was like, oh my god, there's a new meal? Like, these things are so ravenous.
That's one of the things that's kind of a little annoying about it. Like, real animals, you think they wouldn't give you the time of day if they had just gotten done eating a huge meal. Like, I can't even run. Are you kidding me? Let them go.
I guess it was finally they had prey to hunt. And they're just you know what? I'm killing. I'm a killing all day, killing all night. Yeah. Quick question for you before we wrap up. Between the 3 Spider-Man costumes, and I kind of generalized here because the one we have in the MCU now is kind of always changing. Did you have a favorite one between the ones we have between, MCU, Amazing Spider-Man, and original Raimi trilogy?
Did I have a favorite one? To be honest, what was the first Amazing Spider-Man villain?
The first Amazing Spider-Man villain, and that one actually changes too between the 2 movies, the costume, but the first Amazing Spider-Man villain was the Lizard. And then in the second one, we had Rhino, Electro, and Goblin. Yeah. That was a lot. There's a lot of them in there. I like the cartoony look of Amazing Spider-Man too, but I think that Raimi trilogy Spider-Man just looks so badass. Just sharp. Yeah. It just looks like he's ready to beat you up. Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess with that Spider-Man. I just like it a lot. I like the mechanic lies we have nowadays, though. It gives them more like emotion. I think that's fun. It's more comic booky.
Sure.
But I think they had a good job with that.
It ties in well with Stark. Built it for him, and that's
for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, totally. Which, by the way, one of the funniest gifs I've seen recently, Captain Marvel in Endgame saying like, "Oh, hey Peter Parker, I hear you have something for me or whatever," and then it shoots to Peter, emo Peter, in Spider-Man 3, and he turns around, he's like, "You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door." Like, I was like, "Well done, everybody, you did it." That's good stuff. Yeah. Which, by the way, if you remember, like, and I kind of forgot about this, there's that Superman kind of, not quote, but that Aunt May brings up. But while Spider-Man is trying to get, like, or Peter is trying to get the webs to work, the organic web shooters in the first film, he says up and away web, and then he says Shazam, which are both nods in a way, I think, to DC Comics. Like, it's like, it's like, good for them. They got away with it. DC's like, I'm gonna go get that money from Sony. Anyway, yeah, there we go. That's a little game I wanted to play. I thought it was just kind of fun. It was fun. Yeah. Anyway, Joe, let's start.
Poor guy.
Let's wrap it up, baby. Let's move to that segment of the show that we like to call
Timekillers.
That's right. Time for Timekillers. Games we're playing, movies we're watching, TV shows we've been viewing. Joe, what have you been killing time with?
I recently watched 3. Oh, what was the word? What was the movie called? What was it called?
Amigos.
No, it's the one with Ben Affleck in it.
Are you talking Triple Frontier?
Triple Frontier.
Dude, I watched that too a while ago.
Yeah, what did you think?
It was fine. I felt like it kind of plods later on where I'm like...
Yeah, there are some kind of semi-boring parts, and, stupid things lead to bad things and then worse things. The ending is good and all. The characters are okay.
Laughed at that helicopter, though, that CGI helicopter. I was like,
I laughed at the Charlie Hunnam introduction.
What, the one where he's like giving the speech?
Yeah. He's like, I once choked a man out, almost killed him. My girlfriend had to hop on my back because he wouldn't move his car or something. I was like, bro, you're cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he doesn't have that persona in the movie. Like, if anyone, that'd be like, I don't know. I like all those actors a lot, and I like Oscar Isaac with Pedro Pascal. And they have like some Ghost Recon-y type moments, and I wish they did more of that stuff.
It is almost big time Ghost Recon, and it starts out real heavy like that. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I swear some of the lines coming in over the radios and in the house when they're taking it out are straight out of Ghost Recon.
Which is probably just straight out of just, tactical spec ops stuff or whatever.
I don't know, but, because they're like taking on drug lords down in Colombia or South America or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't Colombia. I don't know where it was.
It was somewhere down there. But either way, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I thought it was kind of boring towards the end, but...
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Somebody dies that you do not expect to die.
Yeah, it happens, and you're like...
But he definitely deserves it.
He deserves it, and it's for sure. It's not like one of those, like, is he?
No, it's for sure. And it was a pretty graphic moment, too. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, it just shows you can't just do whatever you want.
So there's a sequel set up right from the get-go. Like, they're going back to get that money, that's for sure.
Yeah, when they said that at the end, it's like they don't nod to that guy counting stuff enough for me to remember that, so that's why it's kind of like a surprise. But like they mentioned it like 2 or 3 times earlier. They're like, oh yeah, he's always counting stuff, and then he's like, yeah, like it would have been nice to see him like write something down at one point, be like, oh well. But sure. I don't know, I guess I just don't care. There's like that last dude who was like an idiot on their team. I always feel like special forces movies or even like bank robbery movies,
one that's just kind of
it's like the idiot, who's gonna ruin everything, and you're like, shut up, like stop it, shut up. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine.
I give it like Reed is what really gets him in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. I give like a 6 out of 10 or something.
Yeah, I give it 6.5. So
I like that Oscar Isaac though. He's good. He's really good.
Yeah, but other than that, not much really.
Cool. Spider-Man for me, and just catching up on the old Bachelorette. Family was like, you got to watch it. So I've been plowing through. It has not been a fun trip. I'll tell you that much. It's stressful, man. That show is a stress fest.
Do you even care though?
I do a little bit because there's like a few guys on there where I'm like, all right, these guys seem pretty like legit, and it's so funny. I think for me, like this one specifically, it's I think more about like the psychological experiment where it's you take a bunch of guys, and obviously like earlier this year they had like a bunch of girls and do the same thing, but you take all their phones away, you all have them date the same person, you make that person like the thing. And so they don't show the conversations that people have about like their daily lives and stuff. And these guys become friends, and you don't always see that until like later on. And they'll kind of be like, hugging each other or kind of just like, hey, buddy, what's up? But at the end of the day, they're all still competing more or less. And how quickly and easily they kind of form into groups, and then also like to focus on like the front runners or the ones that just kind of make them angry because they live in the house with them, and they just are like, I just hate this person so much, and they can't like be on their phone, they can't go or do anything else. Is like they have to fixate on the person they want to date, this like the bachelor or the bachelorette, and then also like this person that they just hate because they've got nothing but time. And it's just like it's always the same ones. It's always like, well, I don't think you're here for the right reasons. Like I can tell you all that stuff that's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to watch. Like, and you also start thinking, are some of these actors, or are these all just regular people that just got thrown into the same area, and just like, this is what they devolve into, like just being like, how dare you? And like,
there's nothing appealing about her.
Hannah, so the difference between this season and like last with Becca, because Becca's from Minnesota, so representing all that. Becca was a pretty level-headed, straightforward bachelorette. There wasn't like too much, like obviously there's always gonna be drama, but Hannah, because of her past, being like Miss Alabama and stuff like that, she is definitely someone who is like sometimes a little more drawn to the drama, even if she doesn't want to be. And I don't know, she does some things where I think like if it were me, I'd be like, is this someone for me personally that I would watch and be like, that's who I want to be my future wife? Because that's a question that starts to turn later on in the show, because in the beginning, all the guys want to stay there the whole time because it's like, yeah, she's amazing. And also we're going on all these cool trips. But when it starts to get down to like 4 or 5 guys, and she's kept like 1 or 2 around that you're like, I hate this person, like with a passion, you start to think, at least for me, I'd be like, why are you interested in him? We're like completely different. Like,
well, he's a joke. Why are you interested in a joke, right?
Yeah.
Well,
and obviously,
because the producers want to keep the entertainment on the screen.
And that's the trick too, is I think like evil producer mind in that show Unreal, it's like, okay, if I'm the producer, like how long do I keep my villains around, and sometimes it's not even that. It's like they actually, like the person, like the bachelor or bachelorette actually has a genuine interest in that person. Yeah. And it's like a different relationship with just those two versus that person with everybody else.
Maybe like a bad boy appeal or something of that nature.
Or it's just like they're like really extremely attracted to this person and they're willing to forgive all this stuff. But then it's so funny to watch it bleed into conversations. And the good, like straightforward, I love the straight shooters, the ones who don't talk about anybody else, because those are the ones who always make it furthest. They don't sit in there and they're not like, oh, well, it was such a fun day with you, but also such and such sucks. All right. Like, it's like, don't even do it. Don't even buy into it. It's just like, don't be stupid. But yeah, some of those for me, I couldn't do it. There was one funny thing that happened recently, and I thought it was such a smart play. There's this one front runner that I like, and he was like, hey, I wanted to officially ask you if you wanted to be my girlfriend, and it comes with the caveat that I'm cool with you dating like 14 other dudes. Like, and it was so funny, but it was kind of cute where you're like, all right, this dude, he gets the situation. He's going to make the most out of it. And at the same time, he's going to be like, you know what? I get it. And it's not really going to help to like address it. But at the same time, it does. Because it's like, yeah, I guess she's kind of dating all of them. But like, just to kind of, come out and say that. I've never heard that on the show before. Like, I was like,
it's clever.
I was like, it's very clever. And it's very endearing because it's like, that guy stands out. Yeah. And he's one of the guys who doesn't cause drama yet. I don't know. That always seems to change. But which, by the way, I saw Nick Viall was in like a few ice cream commercials, which were like about like not like giving up on love and stuff. I was like, geez, like he's cashing out that.
He's like the one where he says to some kid, yeah, love isn't real or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is an ice cream commercial. Anyway, I know it's weird because you're like, hey, Jimmy, this isn't for like your demographic or anything. My sister got me into it, and it's one of those things where it's like an on-running thing where one of these guys will be like the next Bachelor, more or less. So like if you like one of these guys and you're like, oh, he's a cool dude, like next January when it starts back up, you'll be like, all right. And then Bachelor in Paradise is just like the trashiest hodgepodge where they just take like the worst of the worst and some of the good ones and throw them in like Mexico for a couple of weeks, and they're like, find love. Yeah, but I'll
probably watch that again.
I give kudos to Chris Harrison, though. That guy does a pretty good job, even though I feel like he's checked out sometimes. He's been doing this for a long time. He's been hosting the show for a long time, and he has to sell it. Like, he always has to be like, this is the most dramatic season yet. But, man, that guy, I feel like he's just sitting in a bungalow sometimes. They're like, hey, Chris, whatever Bachelor or Bachelorette's having a problem, you got to go out and have a one-on-one, a heart-to-heart with them. He's just like, all right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cole. He's like, where did he go? I forgot about that.
Come here, boy.
Ran into the darkness. I wonder if that's still going. Is like, I want to know that too. Is Colton still with what's her face?
As far as I know.
Oh, there you go. Good on you, Colton.
I saw some photo recently about it.
Which I wonder too, because like recently on the show they were gonna have it where like Hannah was thinking about she couldn't go on with the show anymore, and so I always think like in Chris's mind is he like, I gotta get her back in because like we gotta film like 3 or 4 more episodes. We need that footage.
More like she's reading her lines perfectly.
I don't know. Like it would be hard. It's fun at first, I think, for everybody, but then when it starts to get down to it, it's like really intense. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And some of the people are smart. They get it. They're like, I'm not getting married to you because I've only known you for like 4 weeks. But every day has been all about you. Yeah.
Is it like down to the final 5 or something?
Not yet. They're getting kind of close though. I haven't watched I think it's the most recent episode, but they left. They went from LA and they usually go to like 3 or 4 different places, but they went to Rhode Island, then they went to Scotland, and then they went to Latvia. So that's where they are now. Yeah, I don't know. It's entertaining. And then after I'm done watching, I'm like, well, at least my life isn't like that. People are like, Jimmy, you should go on that show. I'm like, I would never want to go on that show. Are you kidding me? Like, oh God, I could not be like, yep, she's dating all these other guys. Perfect. Really cool. Really excited about that. Anyway, let's just fall right into that last segment of the show that we like to call community feedback and questions. This is a great question. This one comes in from our dear friend Missile Mage. I love this one. #Critical Podcast. That's how you tag us, or just throw it in our Discord. How many head scissor takedowns will we see in the Black Widow movie? Yeah, I thought that was really.
Did they bring her back, or didn't she die?
Well, you know, Endgame spoilers forever, but this is probably a prequel of some sort, or time thing, or infinite universe thing, and get another one, parallel dimension.
Sure. I'm guessing at least 7.
I was gonna say 7 too. Do we want to lock in 7? Can somebody keep track of this? Because like when I'm watching the movie, I'll be like, 1. Like
I will. Yeah, I'll remember that. So,
but you can't do too many because like it'll be like a training montage where she's like learning to do that. Maybe it'll be like a flashback to when she was a kid, and they're like, you must learn this technique. You can take down any size opponent.
I'll call it 5.
I'm saying with 7. I'm doing 7. I think
Lucky
for sure
number 7, huh?
I think 5. So, man. I think it's a really funny question, though. I feel like it wasn't the first movie who probably did that kick or that attack, but it was like Iron Man 2 was like the one where like everybody started doing it. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they're like, yeah, I don't know how they learned to do that in the first place. I would never think to attack in that way, but that is why I'm not a super spy. And I give her this, and I've said it probably a few times now. I used to give Black Widow a lot of shade, but she's got all the superpowers that like Batman has, and I love Batman. So, you know what, bro. Black Widow, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you, Black Widow. You're an Avenger. All right, everybody can be an Avenger. Okay, people give Hawkeye, they're like, he shoots arrows, kind of okay. Hawkeye's like incredible. Like he's no look killing people. He's just like boop, boop. Like, come on, guys. Let's be honest here. Yeah, I love him. Anyway, there you go, everybody. That's the show this week. A little bit shorter, trying to keep a little tighter sometimes, you know. But if you ever have a question or a topic for us to cover here on the show, all you have to do is tweet the #Critical Podcast. You can tweet it at our official account, which is at @GoCritical, all one word. Or you can tweet at me. I'm at JimmyGood013. And you know what? Challenge to everybody this week. Tweet me a Darth Vader GIF. I love me some Darth Vader.
There's some good ones out there.
Yes, sir, there are. Joe, how about you? Where if they want to find you? Where can they find you?
At Levers.
At Levers. Arr, it's at Levers.
That's my first time ever screwing that up. At Lever_627, just like Beaver, only with an L. And if you want to reach Levi, you can tweet him at Levi Fletcher. That's Levi like the jeans, FLETCHER.
Very good. He was coming back from camping in a camper, and he said he might be tired. So, yeah, that's okay. That's why he's not here. But he's here in spirit.
But if you do it like I did it, nice and comfortable on the couch, you really enjoy yourself. You think better,
As long as you're happy, man. It seems like most people
relaxed? Maybe I'm too relaxed, but it was fun.
He's given up. You've given up on the whole table setup. You're like, I'm just sitting on the couch.
I'll go back to it. It's just tonight, I was feeling like, why not lounge?
That's fine. It's fine. Hey, man, as long as you're comfy. I think people can still hear you well. I'm pretty sure everything is fine. So
I hope, yeah.
They love your voice.
Oh gosh,
man.
we got to re-record everything.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. See, I can just do it right on command, baby. If you want to support the show, consider liking this video and subscribing and doing all that stuff. But just hanging out with us, that's great too. I appreciate that. We have Patreon and Spreadshirt, like where you can get a shirt just like this. I just love this shirt.
It's all citrus, baby.
It's all citrus. That's just kind of like my little motto I say on stream when the audio and the video is good. But it's just like a fun little saying. And Joe's lovely wife Haley actually designed this, and I think it looks so good. Like, it's great. It's so good. I was actually at Walmart today, Joe, and it was in the makeup aisle, and it was like recording in progress. So I went up to the camera because it had a little screen on there, and I was like, "Hi!" I was like, "If you could check out critical reviews, thank you. That'd be so great." Like, so I hope someone somewhere saw that. They're like,
everybody listening right now is like, "Why were you in the makeup aisle?"
I have my reasons. Yeah. I'll just say that much. Now people are going to be like, tune in next week to find out. And by that, I mean, I'm never going to say why I was there. That's really funny. I got a life. I got a life outside the show. I'm not just making podcasts, baby.
Yeah.
Which also makes me
connoisseur. Yeah.
Makeup connoisseur. I'm stocking Revlon. All right, guys, you caught me. Maybe I'm bored with it. It's not Maybelline. No, I'm just kidding. I did it. Yeah. Which, by the way, these super Walmarts, I'm not joking. They literally have like everything. I was like walking through the aisles. I was like, is there anything you guys don't have? I'm like walking through and I'm in like an aisle just full of blenders. I was like, it's just blenders. Like, it's like,
yeah, I mean, like, hell, they even have, what was I just thinking of? Guns. I mean, for crying out loud, the whole sporting goods area where they sell guns.
I didn't see the gun section in this one, but I have in the past where it's like you're walking around, you're like fishing poles, like camping equipment, shotguns, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess those are just some dude standing behind the counter. He's just like, I'm gonna look at one of these. Like, that's the Midwest, baby. We just got some guns. Anyway, yeah, hashtag not sponsored by Walmart by any stretch. If only, right? Get those sweet. I love how they undercut the competition by like 4 cents. It's like 1996, and people are like, we got them. Yeah, that's great stuff. If people are I'm gonna get so many questions about this. I gotta tell people why I was looking at the way. I was helping my mom shop for some stuff. And so she went into the makeup aisle to find something, and I was kind of walking around just bored, and I saw the camera, and I was like, I gotta walk over there. I gotta go in
there. I followed Haley in there myself, and get lost in the glam.
Well, growing up with 3 sisters, man, I'm not afraid to go down any aisle. I'm just like, they're all just aisles to me, baby. People are like, oh, okay, I'd never go down that aisle. Like my friend Frank went down one of those aisles and never saw him again. Never came back. Yeah. Oh gosh. So funny. Anyway, thank you guys for listening this long. I'm interested to see how many people actually made it this far. And
you made it this far. Answer: why was Jimmy in the makeup aisle?
Hashtag. Do we want to say Revlon, or do we want to be not specific? Because Revlon will find us. Like,
hashtag critical makeup chair.
Okay, hashtag critical makeup chair. I guess like. There wasn't somebody like handing out like free makeup like kits and stuff. Like, oh, let me do you up really quick. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Joe, thank you. It was a pleasure as always. And yeah, I might see Spider-Man this week if I get a chance. I don't know, Joe, if you're planning on seeing it, but next week maybe we'll have like a little review and discussion about it to some degree, or maybe the week after that, depending on when we can all see it. So yeah, perhaps. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Love and hugs to all of you, and just remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.